Titans Global. Let's go. Started with a vision, two voices in the mix. Max and Link together, building something that'll stick. Every episode we drop, yeah, we're reaching new heights. Titans Global on the map, burning bright every night. From the first recording session to the fans that tune in, we've been grinding every day, yeah, we're destined to win. Titans Global, that's the name, that's the brand, we the fans. Speaking truth through the microphone, messages that we send. Titans Global, that's the movement. Titans Global, feel the power. Titans Global, we keep pushing. Titans Global, this our hour. Titans Global, Max and Link. Titans stronger than you think. Titans Global, that's the way. Titans Global, every single day.
What's up, Titans fans, and welcome to another episode of Titans Global Podcast. I am your host, and if you saw Monday's show, you already know that Link is on vacation this week. And so we've got Scoob filling in for Link, and we've got a special guest tonight, man. Super excited to have Austin Huff on the show tonight, former Tighten Up podcast, from A to Z, currently working 22 Chicago. Did I say that right?
US 99 in Chicago, country station. Yeah, the only country station in Chicago.
That is cool, man. Yeah, we're gonna miss him, yeah. But thank you for being on the show, though. Huge Titans fan, from what I understand, obviously. You want to go ahead and tell people a little bit about yourself, give a little bit of backstory?
Yeah, definitely. Max and Scoop, thank you guys so much for the invite. And by the way, Scoop, best shirt of the night, but your best dress tonight, without question. I honestly, before I got on here, my phone was blowing up. I was like, is Scoop the best dressed? And I'm like, look, people are asking.
Yes, they are.
I'm just a radio guy in Chicago. I'm actually from the Nashville area, grew up there, and started my radio career in Nashville. Worked for all three of the sports stations in Nashville, even the AM station. And I bounced around, worked for Jim Rome for a couple of years, then St. Louis for a little bit. Now I'm in Chicago doing country radio, which is and I'm doing all of this while watching the Dodgers game. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know what's tighter, this game or my butt cheeks right now. It is it's brutal. It's a 1-1 game heading into the top of the 11th inning. So a lot of fun going on there. So if I seem a little distracted, just know it is it's not because of you guys. It is because I am just locked in on the only team that I cheer for that gives me any excitement, honestly.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't blame you on that.
Currently.
Currently, yeah, we'll say that currently. Preview show tonight for the game, Titans versus Raiders, 1-4 and 1-4. So I don't know if it's going to be a banger or not. But,
did it get flexed to Sunday Night Football? I think so. Yeah, we're getting Collinsworth on the call. Yeah, Tarico. Yeah. They were chomping at the bit to call this game. I know.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I would be too. 5.5 points to the Raiders. I don't understand that, but hey, I kind of do. I guess. Titans haven't been great this season.
It took two miracle plays for the Titans to beat the Cardinals by 1 point. So,
right.
Look, as much as I joke all the time, our Titans back, and people are asking, but you do have to remember, we did watch 4 games of this team before Sunday, and they kind of showed their true colors as to what they are. Can they get better? Sure. Will they? Probably not. But I think we have to temper our expectations and just hope for some. I've had this conversation with a lot of people, especially in the off season. But I was like, I don't think once Rand got fired and Brian Callahan stayed on, and I'm not a Brian Callahan hater or anything, but the Titans have been in this cycle of firing the GM, and then a couple years later firing the coach, and then a couple years later firing the GM. And it's every poorly run organization in the NFL is on that cycle. I live in Chicago. The Bears are on that cycle right now. And I don't think you'll have legitimate success, or at least cohesiveness within the organization, until you get on that same cycle of you hire a GM and let the GM hire his coach. And then they can work together in lockstep as they go on. So when Miss Amy fired Rand and not Brian Callahan together, which I get it, Brian Callahan only had 1 year under his belt, but at the same time, why fire Rand? The pieces seem to be, he had a great draft class last year. Then it's like that, and now you got all these guys and all these cooks in the kitchen with Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm being very long-winded here, and I apologize, but I just feel like all year long I was telling myself, I don't see a scenario that will make me happy with this franchise right now. And like, because they're not making the playoffs this year. They're probably, their win total over under was 5.5. So you probably know the under is going to hit. So I just kept thinking of like, what scenario could make me happy about the Titans, and I couldn't think of one. It's like that scene from Avengers Endgame when Doctor Strange does all the equations in his head, and I come out with 7 trillion billion scenarios, and then he's like, how many do we win? And he's like, just one. For me, there's not even that one. So that's kind of where I'm at in my headspace as a Titans fan. But I expect the worst and hope for the best.
To build off that, I talk about when people ask me why have the Titans not fired Brian Callahan to this point. I literally say, well, it's because they're trying to stay out of this cycle that you were just talking about, and they are praying to God right now that something sparks and just the team takes off. And
even if they do fire him in season, let's say they do, the Titans are not in a better spot. If they fire him next Tuesday, they're not in a better spot on Wednesday. They're in just as bad of a shape with like the future of Cam Ward and whether or not he is the guy. Like it is, they're still in a bad place, and it's not like some interim is going to come in and completely change what's going on with this franchise. So I'm kind of like I'm never going to call for the firing of anyone, just because I don't. That's someone's livelihood, and I've always had that stance, even on the Tighten Up Pod days. But I will say, we used to talk about turning up the Bunsen burner underneath the coach's seat. The Bunsen burner is turned up away right now, and it really can't get any hotter. And I just don't, but I don't see the upside in firing him in the middle of a season too. So I don't know.
No, I agree with that. Really, let's be honest. If I'm being honest with myself and everybody, I wanted him fired around week 3 or week 4 because I was just frustrated. But I've come to reason that like you said, there's no benefit to firing him right now. But if something does happen, if we went on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak, I'm not saying it's possible.
Yeah,
probable. I'm not saying it's probable. It's possible. How about that?
What do you mean? 13-4 is coming.
But my point is that if that was to happen, I think I would be, even if 5 or 6 games at the end of the season, I think I'd be like, all right, maybe we give Callahan one more year. I don't know. It changes my view just a little bit, just from winning one game, even though it was a miraculous win.
Is Scoob like the AJ Hawk of this Pat McAfee show right here, where it's like he just kind of like every once in a while?
Yeah, and then he's just like, yeah.
I'm the hype man.
If you're pretty soon, he's gonna light up a cigar, and just be placed in front of the players. Yeah.
Well, do you think the reason why maybe they're not firing him too is because maybe they want to try to build some continuity, even though knowing that we don't have the players to maintain, a good team right now, and maybe they're not putting all that on Callahan, and maybe they want to try to build something, or You think they're
Yeah,
just
I mean,
going to wait and
I think it's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, let's see if he can turn it around, and because when's their bye week? It's kind of early, and it's not as early as it's been in years past, but it's like, well, like
week
week
10?
7, week 10. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
maybe they're looking at a bye week thing. Like, let's see if he can turn any of this bit around by the bye week, and if he can't, then maybe that's when they pull the trigger. But for lack of a better
right.
term.
Yeah, let's see. I've got way off track here, but it's all right. It doesn't matter. I just like talking about the Titans, and that's what we're doing. So we're hoping that there is some kind of continuity between the fourth quarter of last week and this next game, or at least I am. That the Titans and Cam Ward can somehow build on that fourth quarter win and play like that, like
Right.
Brian Callahan said, the whole damn game. Um, I don't know. I really
No,
don't.
I, I think this offense has been way too conservative, and it's like really you've seen Cam Ward shine in those late game instances, and it's like why not take the top off with this offense? Like I remember, was it 2 weeks ago? I think when it was 3rd and 12 on the plus side of the field, and they run. Oh jeez. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Yeah.
they ran.
I've been wanting them to open up the offense for so
passing
long. I
all
feel
on the
like they're just
Dodgers.
holding back.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
they ran a 3rd and 12 draw play, and it was like, what are you doing, guys? Like
Yeah.
overly conservative. It's like if you want to find out if Cam Ward's the guy, let him at least try to be the guy. And I had these frustrations with Will Levis last year too, or with how they handled Will Levis, was because I felt like both Vrabel and Callahan were very conservative with them, and maybe that's because obviously we kind of saw what Will Levis was, and maybe they saw things in practice that they didn't. But if Cam Ward is as good as people are saying he is, especially the Titans brass, then why are you not letting him throw the ball around the yard? I mean, he had that beautiful pass to Calvin Ridley down the sideline,
Right.
and granted, like honestly, half the times they haven't had success in those 2-minute drills is because their guys haven't been catching the balls. The balls have been there. So basically, I just feel like they're being a little too
No
conservative.
more baby steps.
Exactly right. Like I mean, you don't have the luxury of and like if I'm
Right.
Brian Callahan and I see the handwriting on the wall where the entire city wants my job and like they want me out. Like I'm like I saw a chart today where like on fourth downs the Titans are like one of the least prone to go for it on fourth down, and it's just like, be more aggressive, dude. Like you have nothing to lose. Like what are you going to lose? Your job? Because you're probably going to lose that anyway. So like
Right.
just
Go
like
for it.
like pin your ears back and unleash the hounds.
Yeah, I'll be real with you, man. That was one of my things was that someone asked me if they could continue this type of play, or if he could continue this type of play, the Titans or Cam Ward, however you want to look at it. But I was like, yeah, if the receivers can catch the ball. I mean, that's really. I mean, you hit it right there on the nail. They can't catch the damn ball. I mean, that's it. If you catch the ball, you
I mean,
keep going.
there's a chance they win in Denver if Chig,
Oh yeah.
if
If Van Jefferson catches that ball,
if Ridley catches 2 of his passes, I mean, like,
Hmm. And if they give DK his touchdown back, but he was robbed.
oh
yeah,
man, yeah.
yeah, seriously.
But and that Van Jefferson thing also brings me up to another point. The last pass we saw to set up that field goal to Calvin Ridley there looked an awfully lot like the same ball that was thrown to Van Jefferson. And I remember a lot of people being critical of Cam Ward, saying, "Oh well, he needs to figure out how to take some heat off of that pass. It had too much." They were questioning whether it was Cam Ward's fault that Van Jefferson didn't catch that ball, or whether it was Van Jefferson's fault. But I don't understand how people were still questioning that. If it hits you both hands, you should catch the damn ball, just like Calvin Ridley did in this game. Although he hasn't been very consistent throughout the season.
There's a runner on second with 2 outs. It's tied 1-1 right now. And
Oh,
Harrison Bader will not go down. He's fouling off just about every pitch. So
let me ask you a question, Max.
What's up?
You think if Simmons, you too, Austin, you think if Simmons can keep this pace of play throughout the whole season, do you think he has a legitimate shot at winning Defensive Player of the Year?
Absolutely.
If he
I
keeps
know.
this,
No, I think he could go off give Aaron Donald numbers, but since he's playing on what could be a 1-2-3 win team, I don't think he's going to get.
you think they'll give it to somebody else?
No, and let's be honest, like the Titans do not move the needle, and I mean that both nationally, but also with sports writers, and sports writers are the ones who vote on those awards. And I mean, like, and if they're not winning, they're certainly not moving the needle. So I don't think there's any chance that anyone on this Titans team gets more than a Pro Bowl nod, and even that would maybe one guy, maybe Jeff, you know.
Yeah, and I've seen something on Twitter
on
today where the Chicago Bears offered the Titans 2 seconds and a fifth for Simmons. I don't know if it was true or not, but I seen that on Twitter today.
Oh,
I've seen a bunch of people asking what they would give, and I gave a pretty simple answer, and it's not enough. Whatever they're offering.
And this is what happens with bad teams: is everyone wants to sell off every single part, and like to an extent, I get it, but when you sell off parts for cash, let's call the draft picks cash. When you sell the parts for cash, you still have to go out and find top of the line parts. So if I sell a top of the line part for cash, I'm going to be probably drafting another part, and it's going to be a few years before that part becomes. And even if they do, draft picks are a coin flip to begin with at best.
Right.
So if you trade off of Jeffrey Simmons, and you're like, yeah, but we got 2 draft picks for him. Let's say one of those becomes a starter after year 2, maybe. Or maybe let's say the first year, even if it's a first round draft pick. The odds of him being as good as Jeffrey Simmons is are not great. So it's like you're at the roulette table, and you put your money down on black and you win big on black. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to take the money that I won on black and I'm going to put it all on red. And if that hits, it's great. But if it doesn't, you're SOL and you're worse off than you were when you had Jeffrey Simmons on the roster. So that's how I've always felt about trading off parts, trading off like pieces. Like when you have a top 5 player at a position, you've got to keep that player at the position and then build around that. And if you trade it off, then you're in a worse place than you were with him on the roster. You're not. Everyone is so in love with draft picks. Every NFL fan is like, yeah, but draft picks, huh? You know, it's. Do you guys watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
It's like in Family Guy when when Peter Griffin, the mystery box. He's like, would you like you won this boat, but we also have this mystery box. And Lois is like, are you crazy? Go with the boat. Why? It's so much better than this mystery box. He's like, yeah, but the boat is a boat. Mystery box could be anything. Like a boat. That's the way NFL fans view draft picks. And it bothers me so much. In fact, Tom Brady, who I absolutely despise, came out this week and was like, the NFL draft is the most overblown thing in the NFL calendar. And I was like, damn it, I hate him. But I actually agree with him on that stance.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we build on hope as opposed to the actual product. Like I see people like wanting the Titans to lose just to get Brian Callahan fired. And I'm like, why? Are you not a Titans fan? You should want the Titans to win every single game, no matter who's holding the clipboard.
Yeah. Exactly. And a good example of what you're talking about there, all Titans fans should be familiar with, is trying to replace A.J. Brown with Treylon Burks, which that experiment finally ended this week. Thank God. I'll be honest with you. I don't want people to get fired, but I was so glad today when I saw that the Titans officially waived him, and I was like, all right, good. It's over. It's done.
I
No more.
first of all, Max, I got to give you kudos. You are you might be a better quarterback than Cam Ward the way you are segueing in and out of topics. Like you are literally tossing them up over the plate, and you're doing a phenomenal job. I have to commend you. The way we're weaving in and out of like every topic that every Titans fan wants to hear about. But yeah, Traylon Burks, man, that we're gonna wake up 15 years from now, and that is the Traylon Burks experiment is gonna feel like a fever dream. We're gonna just be like, we'll be all like the three
Yeah,
of
remember
us. We'll
that?
be drunk at a bar in downtown Nashville together, and we'll be chopping it up. Like, man, remember that time we did that podcast? Yeah, and then we'll start throwing out random Titans names. Like, oh man, what about
Right.
Carl Pickens? Yeah. Oh, how about Algie Crumpler? Oh yeah. And then one of us is gonna throw out Traylon Burks, and
And all of us gonna laugh.
we're all gonna pause for a second, and then we will be like, what the hell was that all about? And then the visions of John Robinson crying on the bleachers at the combine after the Bengals loss is going to pop into our head as the lasting image that we saw of him before he made that move. And I want to say we'll laugh, but like we'll probably laugh the way like a recent divorcee laughs. It's
Right.
like, yeah, screw my ex. But then the realization sinks in, and you're just
Yeah, but I'm going home alone tonight.
yeah. Those were my happiest days.
Oh, that's good stuff. But no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think a lot of us are like I said, I think a lot of us are like me, just happy to have it over with and done. No more talk about practice squad or any stupid comebacks or any of that crap. I wish him well. I hope that he does what a lot of Titans players do and goes to another team and flourishes great and becomes a great wide receiver. And, kudos to him. I hope he does. But just not on the Titans. I don't care. Go somewhere else.
He had one touchdown in he played 26 games and missed 24 games, I think. Was
it was ridiculous.
Final numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Alec Eilmaner had in 3 weeks his entire career numbers, so it was pretty. I don't think he had him in yards, but he does have him in touchdowns and receptions, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's absolutely ridiculous. Especially since Alec is a rookie, 4th round rookie, not a 1st round. Anyway, offensive line. So last week, I mean, it wasn't terrible outside of Moore. I mean, Uda, he's still young and he's a depth piece, but I think he came along really well last week. I think all of them did well last week, but let's be honest, the Arizona defensive line doesn't have. I mean, he's got Calais Campbell and Josh Sweat, but I don't think they're, like you said.
The Titans have had trouble with way worse defensive lines. So
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I saw Jared Stillman hammering down. Jared Stillman's take this week was that why is nobody talking about the offensive line? It's like all of these struggles over the years, and this was the first game they put together a really decent game. And my rebuttal to Jared Stillman's take is we don't want to talk about the offensive line, because when you're not talking about the offensive line, that means they did a good job. Like that, yeah, they should be commended for sure. They put together a really great game. And obviously, like Tony Pollard was running the hell out of the ball. That starts up front as well. But I don't want to be talking about the offensive line. I want to be focusing on Cam Ward connecting passes deep. And why is that? Because the offensive line put together. We all know the game starts and ends in the trenches. And it has ended a lot more games in the trenches than it has started. And so I feel like if we're talking about the offensive line, it's for negative reasons. So let's keep not talking about the offensive line. I love those guys, and I want them to continue to have success. And finally, the fruits of Bill Callahan's labor are starting to show.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
0 pressures again for the 3 in the middle.
Yeah,
They've been playing well.
I have to say it. Peter Skoronsky is turning into an all-pro guard. He is
I called it at the
absolutely
beginning of the
sick
year.
right now. Yes, you did. I looked at a graph today where it was talking about guards in the NFL and pass protection, and he is unequivocally number one. So very cool. I'm so happy that he is an all-pro guard, and I am happy that I can say he's an all-pro guard, so we can stop talking about him moving to tackle.
Yeah, right. That tackle is a black hole. Do you guys ever see Interstellar? That thing
Oh
that
yeah.
Matthew
that
McConaughey.
the thing that McConaughey gets sucked in is literally the Titans tackle position.
That is
Hopefully
not
Latham will be back
incorrect.
this week.
Yeah.
That's a good I wanted to bring this up. That's kind of the reason I brought up the offensive line. Latham is looking like he might be able to play this week. Probably pretty favorable that he's going to play this week, but I I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. Uda played pretty good. I know he's been crap all season, but he played pretty good last week. Do you let if there's any question at all or any thought that maybe JC could hurt himself worse? Do you not say, well, why don't you sit this one out? We'll start Uda and we'll go from there. But
Yeah, I think you got to play the best guy. And yeah,
all right.
put together one good week of tape last week, but to me, JC Latham is I mean, he was a first round draft pick for a reason,
Much
and
better. Yep.
I feel like you have to go with him. The good thing about
Yeah,
that though is
his talent level's too high.
it gives you depth. It gives you depth at a position that the Titans desperately need depth at. So if if you go JC, then that's great. That means you got one on the bench to bring in, and that's been a problem for the Titans over the last I think this is year number 4 straight years of the worst offensive line play in the NFL. What feels like some of those years statistically it has been. And the biggest issue has been the play on the field, but also depth because they've had no one else to bring in, and they've done the rotating doors and no one's worked. And so like if you have someone good on the bench, it's almost like a reliever in baseball, and bring them in, in the game if your starter is struggling. So I feel like, and that's where the Titans are bad all across the board is depth. And I think that's Mike Borgonzi sees that, obviously coming from Kansas City to this, broken down 1991 Honda Accord of the Tennessee Titans after leaving his Ferrari. I feel like he sees that.
Yeah.
And that's why when Big Joe asked him in the training camp, do you think the roster that you were putting out there can win a Super Bowl? And I hated their reaction. I hated Chad Brinker.
It was
Chad
honest.
Brinker. Borgonzi just going stone face was better than Brinker laughing, but I hated both of their responses. Because whether you do and whether you don't, and they know what Big Joe is doing. Big Joe's a pro at what he does. He's one of the best out there, and I love him to death. They knew he's trying to get the soundbite, and well, he got the soundbite in their reaction without them very saying anything. What you say there is yes. That's it, because that doesn't go as viral as anything else. But what they did was so much worse, and that tells everyone in your locker room, that tells all of your fans that you don't believe in the product you're putting on the field. And I think a large part of that is because of the lack of depth at every position.
Well, and I think
agree
a
with
lot
that.
of people, I was telling people also at the beginning of this season to tame your expectations, because the Titans are not going to be the team that you want them to be this year. Unfortunately, we're just not that good yet.
Right.
So, I don't know. Like you said, Borgonzi's response was better than Brinker laughing. That is a bad response. Laughing at it. I mean, I think it's funny personally, and I'm
We
sure
need to
that's
get
why it went big on Twitter.
who are the guys from Office Space? The two guys that come in and they're like, "What exactly do you do here?" We need those guys.
Exactly.
We need those guys to pop into Chad Brinker's office and ask him.
Right.
Because it just feels like he is a middleman. He's not the GM, or well, I mean, I guess maybe by title he's the GM, but he doesn't make all the decisions, and he has to clear them with Borgonzi, and like it's weird hierarchy, and that's what poorly run franchises do. Is they have all these cooks in the kitchen, thinking that two heads are better than one, when in reality, it's always the worst teams that have all of the moving parts within their front office. And I'm just like, Borgonzi, I mean, not Borgonzi, but Brinker needs to get out, because he has been the architect behind a lot of bad decisions for this franchise.
Yes, and I'll be honest with you, I have to give Link credit on this. My host, he brought it to my attention that Brinker was the common denominator in a lot of these decisions that were made. He hired Rand, he hired Brian Callahan, he hired, and I think Borgonzi personally, when you look at Rand's draft versus Borgonzi's draft, I mean, it's hard to tell because we're not in year 2 of Borgonzi yet, but I feel like the drafts were Borgonzi was better. I like Borgonzi's idea. He's already been at a winning organization. He knows what it's supposed to look like and work like. So I feel like, yeah, like you said, we need to get rid of Chad Brinker and just move on with Borgonzi as the full GM. Let him have his spot. Quit with this weird thing that the NFL even had to, get us to explain to them, because they didn't even understand our chain of command, which is just awful, man. But whatever. 40 seconds. We're going to take a quick 40-second break. We've got to give love to the sponsors. And then right after that, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about stacking wins and some of the Raiders' shortcomings, plus the injury report and all that good stuff. So hang out. What's up, Titans fans? Maximus Titan fan here. Are you in need of professional excavation services? Look no further. Red Zone Builders has the expertise, experience, and equipment to handle all or any excavation project, big or small. Whether you need land clearing, site preparation, trenching, foundation excavation, or any other excavation services, they have you covered. Their team of skilled professionals will work diligently to ensure your project is completed safely, efficiently, and to your satisfaction. Trust the experts at Red Zone Builders to get the job done right. Wow. Man, I really need to upgrade that. I keep watching it and
hey, it's like a football player.
Do you ever do that?
You got to watch the tape.
As a former podcast personality, do you ever do that? Do you watch yourself on tape and go?
It's my least favorite part of my job is like every. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Oh, baby! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! The pitcher just made the dumbest decision of his life. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
The Dodgers are going to the NLCS. Let's go! Let's go! Okay, sorry. Yes, I hate listening to myself back. I am never going to go back and listen to this question being answered, because it is probably the worst piece of audio ever. But every week we have to do air checks for our boss, and I try to forget every single week, and every couple of weeks she'll be like, you guys haven't given me an air check in a while. and so then we have to force to sit down and listen to segments and bits that we do on the air, and I just I cringe a little bit, because I'm like, because coming out, it's in my head, it's like, oh, this is sounding so great. Yeah. It sounds so great, and then you go back and listen, you're like,
I could have said that better. Yeah, I feel you, man. It is one of those things. And I'll be honest, I never started doing this because I wanted to be a personality. I started doing this because my wife kind of forced me to, because she was tired of listening to me talk about the Titans. And she thought if I did this was going to save her from listening to me. But really all it's done is just ramp it up, because now I talk to her about the Titans and my Titans show. And she's like, damn it. So it kind of backfired.
Right.
So anyway, talked a little bit about on the Raiders side of things. Geno Smith, we have to make sure that we do not make this a get right game for Geno.
We have to. Well. Hey, aren't we Titans fans? Don't we know that everyone gets right against us?
Well, yeah,
Even Kyler Murray was putting together like a really good game until he wasn't. But if the Titans don't pick off Geno Smith at least 3 times in this game, then they will not be living up to the NFL quota of picking off Geno.
yes, yes, exactly. We need to at least have 1 turnover in this game.
I think
for God's
McCreary's
sake.
going to get him in the middle.
I would absolutely love McCreary to get him another one. I hope he honestly earns himself into a really nice contract, whether it's with the Titans or not. But I want him to stay with the Titans.
Yeah, I think he will.
Highest in the NFL for turnovers and turnover-worthy plays.
Yeah, it's
Geno
been bad for Geno. I was just in
Yeah.
Vegas a couple weeks ago, ahead of the Bears, playing in Vegas, and he had a bad game then, and he's just he has not been great, which is weird because he the last couple of years he's been great, and you thought
He was
like
so
pairing him
efficient.
with like Pete Carroll, who is like somewhat of a quarterback whisperer, like you would have thought that, at least it wouldn't be as bad as it's been, and.
Well, I mean, he revived his career in Seattle. Am I not correct on that? That he?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The last few years, he was great.
Yeah, you would think that Pete Carroll, out of anybody, could figure out exactly what Geno needs.
Right. And I think that's honestly one of the reasons why the Raiders signed him, because they obviously hired Pete Carroll, and then they go out and they need a quarterback because Derek Carr unexpectedly retires, and I think they said, well, we have familiarity with Geno. Like Pete Carroll's probably like, I know what I do works with Geno under center, but so far it hasn't. So
exactly.
Yeah, the Raiders are a
And
team like us. They just like to fumble everything. Organization, players, coaches.
yeah, they are kind of a mess right now. The only thing they got going right is Max Crosby. I mean, Max Crosby is an absolute beast. And I actually met him. Was that last year we played the Raiders at home? I don't know. I think it was last year. Anyway, I actually met Max Crosby. Really cool guy. Seemed like a really nice guy. Super, super badass football player. But
did you meet him in a
as
tattoo parlor?
no, although
I didn't think he went anywhere other than the football facility and the tattoo parlor.
I'll be honest. I'm one of those really weird people that only has one tattoo. People told me years ago, oh, once you get one, you'll have to completely paint yourself with tattoos, and I was like, nope, I got one. That was it. I'm
Look
good.
at you. Good for you, Max.
I don't know if it's a good for you thing. I'll be honest. I even said to
Well,
myself,
you don't
when I
give in to
was
peer pressure. That's what that tells me.
well, when I was young, I was all rage against the machine and hate the government and all this crap. So I was like, I'll never get numbers or letters tattooed on myself. You know what they say about never
I've been
say
telling
never.
Max
Because
if I win Fan of the Year, I'm going to get the Fan of the Year tattoo.
dude, you
Are
need to
there finalists been named for that?
I hope so. We'll find out either the November 2nd game or the November 16th game who wins Fan of the Year.
Okay, so and there's one from each team, and then one wins among all
and then
those.
somebody wins NFL Fan of the Year.
Okay, so but it doesn't get broken down by rounds. Like it's not like you're in the top 16 or anything like that, right?
Well, I think the NFL sends each team the 5 people, I guess 5 people to pick from what I heard.
Oh, okay,
And then the team
they haven't
picks who they want out of the 5.
Yet, right?
Do what?
They haven't gotten to that phase yet, right?
No, I think they're about to send the 5 finalists to the team soon. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, the voting is over.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, nobody can really help him now. But we hope that Scoob is the fan of the year. That's why I brought him on my show to begin with, and I hope that it has done something to help you.
I mean, anyone who keeps and Scoob, don't lie to me. I know it's ridiculously hot under there. Anyone who keeps that mask on for an entire podcast deserves some sort of award.
Hey, I
Wait,
could do it in the game, so it's the podcast is nothing.
Is it?
I was
Does
gonna
it
say,
hinder your vantage point at a stadium?
I'm sitting in the south end zone.
So yeah, because you're like pretty close. You're pretty close. Like you're down low, right?
Yeah, 6 rows from the field. Yeah.
Okay. And so does it? But do you feel? Because like even like when I wear a hat forward, I'm like I like it. I almost like it when I take it off because I can see more. Like my
Right. As
is
long as
that
field of
I look
vision.
through I got pretty good vision through here. It's
okay?
not too bad.
Do you sit near
Not
the
too bad.
guy who has the red lights for eyes? He wears that like Spartan mask.
Yeah, Mr. Titan.
Mr. Titan. Yeah, you sit near him.
No, he's on the other side.
Okay, all right. Because I'm
Yeah.
always wondering like, how's that dude looking? Like, how does he see anything? Like, does he see? Are his eyes those two red dots?
Right. Right.
or,
Yeah. It's like
or
right
is it
above his eyes, I think.
okay?
And he won
That
fan of the
is.
year last year.
I see him and I'm like, he's just not watching the game. There's no way unless he's
Yeah,
looking out for those red lights.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a few
same
of them.
man. There's a couple different people that when I saw their Titans, ensemble, I'm like,
Yeah.
man, how do you even see the game with that thing on? But
Right.
That's one thing I love about like having an NFL team in Nashville because it's like every game's like the Met Gala. They're people just wearing ridiculous things, and you're like, how are you
Oh
going to keep
man.
that on throughout this entire event?
oh, we do it though. I mean,
You do it.
Mr. First Down is one of the wildest looking
Oh, I
people,
love
in my
Mr. First
opinion.
Down.
I do too, but let's be real. His outfit is outlandish. He has
It's
a
crazy.
giant foam cowboy hat and a boa, which
He's got the feathers.
I was gonna say I didn't think men were allowed to wear boas,
Austin, you
but
met
hey,
Mr. First
man,
Down when he came to Nashville with Jonathan.
more power to him.
I mean, Ric Flair lived in Nashville, right? So, and he kind of
Okay,
made he
I
brought
was
the
gonna
bow
say
back a little bit.
yeah, he did wear, yeah, he did bring the bow back.
Right.
Sure. Let's see. A horrible segue, but let's talk about Brock Bowers for a minute. Uh, been on the did not participate list both days in a
Keep him
row.
on there one more week.
I,
Yeah,
please, I mean, please, that would help us out a lot. It does give Geno Smith a security blanket if he does play, but it's not looking great right now. And AJ Cole, their punter, today they had to sign a punter because it looks like their starting punter is not going to play. So I think both those injuries are something that would be worth monitoring, at least till tomorrow to see the final injury report
Right.
or, the pregame. I'll be interested to see if they're active or not.
yeah. I mean, the fewer weapons you can have on a struggling team, the better. Obviously, it's like if it'd be like if the Titans were without Chig, Calvin, Tony, or like getting Tajay back was a nice little
Huge.
spark plug
Yeah.
because you could see it. You could see the pep in his step. He looked fresh, and I think he'll do a lot. But Brock Bowers, I mean, he's a monster and he's a beast. And for a struggling quarterback like Geno Smith, if you can take away even one of his pass catchers, I think it just helps. So
Heck yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, another thing about Gino is apparently out of all of this crappy play that he's done, he doesn't do it against the blitz. He's very efficient against the blitz. 8.9 yards average per play against the blitz, which is, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't understand how all 9 of your interceptions come off of just 4 rushers. I mean, are you just not seeing the field or what? Again, this whole Geno Smith thing just blows my mind because I just knew he was going to be the efficient quarterback he was in Seattle, just like he was in Seattle with the coach that he had in Seattle. But anyway, Titans only blitz 17% of the time anyway. So, hey, maybe that'll work out in our advantage to where we can play our game and still pick off Geno Smith.
I just realized that my is my mic coming through?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I realized it came unplugged, and I'm sure it was during my Dodgers outburst. I I get frustrated when I hear stats like that, where it's like the Titans are not aggressive on defense. But then I think back, and I'm just like, I think we've watched a lot of games this year where this defense has gotten burned. So then I'm like, you really can't. And then and the Titans do, and this is maybe the only luxury they do have. They have a really good front four on defense. So you don't necessarily need to pressure from the pressure you get from your front four. But I would love to just if the secondary could just get better and they could blitz more, I think that would be way more exciting for all of us, and I think you'd see a lot more disruption. But it's kind of one of those things you kind of have to just grin and bear it with a franchise at the state that the Titans are in right now.
Yeah, and another thing I have to say, and I have to preface it again with saying that I don't wish injury upon anybody. I don't want anybody to be hurt or anything like that. So just squash all that shit. But Arden Key may miss this game. He's did not participate 2 days in a row, and I'm gonna be real honest right now. I kind of don't want him to play the game. I think Jihad Ward deserves a lot more playing time. He has probably the most pressure out of any edge on the Titans team.
Yeah, he's been good.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like Draymond Jones would even be better suited in a lot of those areas. I don't know. I just don't believe in Arden Key that much, even though he got
Yeah,
a sack in the last game. I just don't. I don't have a lot of faith
Arden
in him.
Key's one of those guys where it's like a kind of like a Jadeveon Clowney, where it's like he may not be putting numbers on his stat sheet, but the amount of attention that he commands opens up other players. And it's kind of like why Harold Landry had so much success when he was here. Everyone's focused on Big Jeff. Everyone's focused on who else was on that defensive line? Tierra Tart for a little bit. It's like
Right now, nobody.
when everyone's focused on the other guys, it opens up someone. And if you're good enough, you take advantage of that. Harold Landry did. He got himself a payday. It's great. The Arden Key, I mean, to a much lesser degree, but he's one of those guys where it's you got to know where he's on the field at all times, because he's like he's an edge, I guess, technically, but he also has the ability to play like an outside backer, and
Yeah.
he's just he can fly all over the field. So I feel like I don't know. I like his presence on the field, but I understand you don't want to rush him back for the long term gain of getting him healthy and getting him right before rushing him back out on the field.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
Williams Sr. will maybe get some playing time this weekend.
I could see that. But that's another thing I wanted to bring up about that. We were talking about the Titans aren't very aggressive with the blitz and stuff like that. It's not that they're better at disguising their four men rushing. A lot of times they'll, rush a linebacker and back Ole off, or they'll bring, like you said, Arden back into coverage and drop one of the linebackers in. So it's not always that they're not blitzing, it's just that they're only rushing four people. It just means one of the defensive ends ends up in coverage.
Yeah.
Thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The last thing I really want to talk about is both these defenses have a propensity to give up a lot of teams, or a lot of points. I've had a little bit too much talking juice, obviously. But
That's don't
I
worry.
think
When we do our air checks later after this, we'll go back
exactly.
to it. So the live read and the flub on the having giving up too much teams.
There you
We'll
go.
we'll make mental notes and we'll work on them. It's all about the fundamentals.
I like you, dude. The Raiders gave up 99 points so far this year. The Titans have given up 141 points so far this year. So both teams have a bad habit of giving too much to the offense on the opposing side. So it's going to be, I think it's really going to boil down to, can Jeffrey Simmons stop Ashton Genty, and can our defense disguise well enough to catch Geno off in a bad moment and pick him off once or twice would be
Yeah.
awesome. But
Do
I
you
think
have this?
that really is what goes down.
Do you have the season stats in front of you? Because I'm also curious as to whether both teams where they rank in time of possession, because I feel like a big part of those points allowed and just really poor defensive stats are you're on the field constantly. And I know for the Titans that has been an issue all year. Is the offense can't stay on the field, so this defense is constantly out there, and of course you're going to wear down. Of course you're going to lose coverage of guys. Of course you're going to give up chunk plays, and the Titans have this season, and the third downs too, third down percentage. They give up a lot of third downs, and they give up they set themselves up for failure too because it's a lot of third and shorts. So if you can get your offense to have long drives, that helps your defense. But the Titans offense has not done them any favor. So I'm curious as to whether or not the Raiders and Titans, where they rank in time of possession.
Well, I know that the Titans are one of the worst in time of possession when it comes to the defense.
You could have just stopped at one of the worst. Honestly, I think it goes for all categories.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they're number 2 in the NFL right now, only beat out by the Saints. I think it is.
We have to laugh
Oh
to keep ourselves from crying, guys. That's why.
Yeah.
That's, the only reason, people are always like, I'm very sarcastic online, and I will constantly be making jokes at the expense of the Titans. And the only reason I do that is because if I don't, I will be a blubbering mess, and I will be sad. So I need to take some sense of joy by whether it be a ribbon our own or whatever. I have to do it to get through these dark times.
Yeah, and I'll be real with you, man. I even said it on my last show. I'm going to bring it up again because my neighbor did it to me. But my neighbor's a big Titans fan, by the way. My boss, when I was leaving work Monday, was like, "You're not going to say anything?" I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, man? I'm tired. I want to go home. It's the end of Monday. It's one of the worst days of the week, bro." And he's like, "You're not going to talk about that improbable win?" And I was like, "Oh yeah," and I just spit off like 5 minutes of bullshit that he didn't want to hear really. And at the end of it, he was like, all right, I've had my fill. Thank you. You can leave now. But I'll be honest, man, it felt good. Whether it was given to us or I don't care. I needed
it doesn't matter. And if you're going to get nitpicky about that kind of win, where have you been the last 2.5 seasons? Like
10 games.
It is. I will take a win if literally the Titans went to midfield, pulled down their trousers, and took a massive dookie at midfield, and were somehow awarded a win for that. I would take it.
Absolutely.
Austin, you talk about I try to find one of the small bright spots on the team, and I jump on it and I hold on to it.
Yes,
that keeps me happy.
You have to, guys. We're all in this together. Okay, I feel like this is somehow turned into a therapy session. Like, we're Titans fans anonymous right now, and like, hi, I'm Austin. I've been a Titans fan for 25 years. Hi, Austin. Guys, we have to. We're in this together. It sucks right now. We have to laugh to prevent from crying, and know that you do have to grasp at any bit of hope. So when they kick that field goal, even though it was the ugliest win ever, and even though it may mean Brian Callahan keeps his job a little bit longer, who cares? Wins are so scarce these days. That's like who's the please sir, can I have some more? And then you get
Oliver
some
Twist.
more. Oliver Twist. That's Oliver Twist going up and asking for more, and they give you like a little spoonful, and you're like, "What is this? Ooh, this is not the SS cargo.
Exactly.
The escargot that I ordered. This is not the shrimp scampi. What is this? Get it out of my face." So, Titans fans, look, we all agree it sucks right now. All right, and there's a lot of discourse among Titans fans too that I see online all the time. We bite each other's heads off.
Yep.
It's discourse, though. You have to remember that it is discourse. We all want the same thing. We all want the Titans to win a Super Bowl. We all have different ideas as to the best route to get there, okay? But we all need to remember that we all want the same thing. And if you are not cheering after a game like we just saw on Sunday, where it was ugly, it was downright disgusting until it wasn't, then you are, I want to question your Titans fandom. And I want to question where you are at as a fan, because this is, you have to, like Scoop said, you have to cling on to any little bit of hope you can right now, and know that we're all doing it together. All right.
That's our team.
My name's Austin Huff, and that was my TED Talk. Thank you, guys.
I was gonna say, dude, that's like the more you know. That was freaking beautiful, man. I was tearing up at the end and stuff. I was Jesus. But no, seriously, I watched your reaction video to the end of that game, and it reminded me of my. I mean, you're a Titans fan when you watch that video.
Right.
You know that.
Austin is.
You don't have
Austin
to
makes
question.
the greatest videos.
I try to be consistent with it. There's been some weeks that I've missed, and full disclosure, on those weeks that I've missed, I've still filmed one. I film one every single week, but there were some that I filmed, and I was like, it was too brutal.
Harsh.
It was too harsh, too critical, and you're probably like, well, why would you not post that? They deserve to be, criticized. They deserve to be, ripped apart, with the way they played over the last few seasons. And I agree with that, but I don't need to add to the noise. I don't need to add to the amount of negativity that you're already seeing online, because again, when that parade comes streaming down Broadway, okay, when it comes rolling down Broadway, and whatever quarterback and head coach combo it may be is hoisting up that Lombardi, you'll see me in the front row. I will be sitting there front row, linked arm in arm with all of us that were here when it was darker than dusk. It was darker than the dead of night. And I'm not going to add to the noise when I get too angry and vitriolic against this team. I'm going to, I just skip the week. I don't edit it. I don't put it together. I don't post it online. I don't hit send. But games after last week, every single W, you can guarantee you will get a reaction video from me, because I do not take them for granted. I look at Chiefs fans now. I went to school at the University of Missouri, and I know a lot of Chiefs fans, a lot of people from Kansas City. And the way they treat wins, like it's expected. Don't get me wrong. The Titans were there at one point, and I think it should be expected to get a win.
Yep.
But we have scraped the bottom of the barrel in the NFL. Literally, we were the number 1 draft pick last year. We were the worst team in the NFL last season. We have seen what it's like to be the absolute worst. Now I will never, ever, I think for as long as I'm a fan, ever take a win for granted. I used to get frustrated when they would barely beat the Jets, or when they would barely beat the Texans when the Texans were terrible. And I used to get so frustrated and angry. And it's like, no, now A win is a win,
Just happy.
and if you can
That's
stack
right.
wins, that's the best thing you can hope for in this league.
And that's how you know you're a true fan, brother.
Exactly.
You know, like I said, yeah. I mean, we were all. I'll be honest with you, dude. I take blood pressure medication, and I don't need
Yeah,
that. I don't need games like that, you know. But I love them anyway, and I'm gonna cheer. And my reaction video, I'll be honest, I didn't want to post that because it was awful. But it was my honest reaction, so I put it out
yeah,
there for all you lovely fans.
yeah.
But yeah. Any final thoughts anybody wants to throw out there before we wrap it up tonight?
No,
2-4 Titans, baby.
Oh,
27-17. My
Oh,
final
we
thought.
did not do any game predictions, so we should do that. You want to go ahead with a game prediction, or do you want me to do it?
I'll say I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to
That's all
say.
right, man.
You know why? I'm not going to say they win because either way I'll be right. Or I'll be happy. Whether my prediction's right or or they win, I'll be happy either way. No, I'll be happy. I want them to win, but I don't think they do. I think the Raiders win 23-13. Keep in mind, this is still a team that has struggled to get in the end zone, and one of their touchdowns on Sunday came via a interception fumble. So, like, this team struggles to cross the goal line. I don't know what it is. I think they score maybe one touchdown on Sunday, and that's it. So I say 23-13 Raiders.
I'll be honest with you, man. This is both these defenses have given up so many large pass plays and bad touchdown obvious. Anyway, I think it's actually the first time that I would bet the over. I think honestly, it's going to be something stupid like 28-32. I don't know exactly which. It's kind of like a coin toss for me.
If the over's set at 12.5, I'll take the over then. But anything higher than that, I don't know.
I'll be honest, man. That over could be almost 40 points, and I'd still be like, yeah, I think this is going over. Because the defense, neither one of the defenses show me that they can really stop big plays.
Yeah.
It's changing this week.
I love you, Scoob. You're always on the positive, bro, and I love
That's
that.
that's why he's our
I
AJ
always
Hawk.
pick the Titans to win.
That is why he's our
right.
AJ Hawk. He's the best dressed. He's the
Yeah.
and he gives the best insight. You gotta love Scoob.
Give it up, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight, Austin. We have had I've had a
Austin.
blast having you on the
Much
show.
love,
To be
bro.
honest, I absolutely love comedy, and I feel like you were 100% nailing it. So
Well,
thank you
guys,
for being on the show.
No, thank you for doing this. This is therapy for me, and I don't get a whole lot of Titans talk here in Chicago, so I really do genuinely appreciate the invite, and hopefully we get a dub, guys. And yeah, you were great, Max. Honestly, well done with the. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, because I wouldn't say anything if I was. You did a great job navigating us through a lot of topics, and that is a really hard thing to do in podcasting and radio and everything. So well done.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I've tried. I started, like I said, I started off this crap just talking about Titans, and people want to call me a analyst or a journalist or whatever. I'm just a fan, man. I'm just a fan who pays a lot of attention and gets really emotional. That's about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, appreciate all the follows and likes and everybody. If you don't follow and like Austin Huff on Twitter, I know you're on Twitter. Are you on
You better
Facebook
be
as well? I
following
think
Austin.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Twitter,
I was gonna say, if you don't,
TikTok, just search Austin Huff.
Yeah, go for
Cork
it, man.
bats.
I'll be honest. I had
Subscribe
fun.
to
Yeah,
Cork Bats.
Cork Bats. Yes, I have to watch more of your show. I watched like about 20 minutes of one of the shows, and I was giggling already. So yeah, really was actually genuinely really excited to have you on the show, and I don't get that very often. So thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. If you ever want to come back, just holler at me. We'll have you back on. You like want to get something off your chest or whatever.
Yeah.
We're always down.
Well, hey, I'll always remember this as the podcast I was on when the Dodgers clinched their spot in the NLCS. So
There you go.
if the Dodgers are in a win-all game, I'm gonna whether it's a night that you guys regularly stream or not, I'm gonna call you guys up and be like, let's get the pod running. Let's do an
There
emergency
you
podcast.
go.
So we got to
Hey,
talk
man.
There you
tight.
go.
The Dodgers are in a tight one.
I feel happy that I'm cemented in your memories for all time, and that's great. But anyway, thanks for everybody who's hung out with me. If you haven't liked, like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. But otherwise, tighten up. Peace out.
Tighten
Peace
up.
out.